Welcome to this video on the future fights and future forecast, if you were, for Tom Aspinal after his incredible win in his last fight in the UFC Fight Night. Tom Aspinal won very dominantly. I think it was a very, very brilliant win against Tabora. Obviously, very good fighter, but in no way was a match for Tom Aspinal, and really showed how he's come back after that quite worrying leg injury that he had. And he's calling out people in the heavyweight division. He's calling out the Garn and the Garn's next fight. Who wins that? I think Garn probably does, and wants to fight Garn and then John Jones, which is obviously going for the champion. Wants to get that fight and wants to see what he can do, which I think is good. I think the next fight that makes most sense, really, it is Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinal. I think that's a big fight. I think that sells. That is a main event. That is a main event of a numbered UFC card. I think that is a big fight. That is two up and coming people who will show who is next to challenge for that championship. I think one of them probably has to fight Garn. Whoever wins out of the out of the current contenders, Garn really, in that top echelon of that heavyweight division. I think one of them needs to fight. One of them top guys win, and then fight. Have the fight between themselves, Tom Aspinal and Pavlovich. And I think probably Pavlovich actually fights one of them. I think Garn probably Pavlovich. Pavlovich wins. Then it goes to Tom Aspinal versus Pavlovich. And then we see the John Jones fight. So let's break that down a bit. I think against Pavlovich, I think Tom Aspinal, I think it's a tough fight, but I think Tom Aspinal wins it. I think he's just got something so different than heavyweights have. He has speed. He doesn't stand still, and may sound quite, of course you move. Stick and move, and that's sort of your starter for any boxing or anything like that. But Tom Aspinal moves. He does move his body. These heavyweights sort of plod around, and that's the division between. That's the difference between top five, even the best heavyweights, and the others. If you stand still and just use your heavy hands because you've got so much mass behind it, you can knock people out, but are you ever going to get to the top? John Jones, how much he moves, and I think Tom Aspinal actually gives John Jones the hardest day in the octagon he's ever had. I think that's true. I think Tom Aspinal really does really well in that fight. I think he shows how good he is, how fast. And the movement, I think, is something John Jones hasn't experienced, especially at heavyweight. I think his movement is so much better than anyone else, except from John Jones. Do I think he beats John Jones? Probably not. I think John Jones is just that extra level. I think he's a generational talent, if not, going to be the best of all time, sort of light heavyweight that there ever has been. I think he's just a special fighter who is just better than everyone. I think some people are. I think Tom Aspinal is sort of a new breed. We've only seen one really who's got to the level of Tom Aspinal, but really is a sort of a new breed of heavyweight that will show that movement and things will get you far in that heavyweight division. If you have crisp movement, if you have crisp boxing technique, crisp hands, and you're not just looking to stand in and knock someone out with one punch, it will take you far. It will take you into that top five at least, easily. And Tom Aspinal on the ground against John Jones, I think John Jones wins, but will, in a sense, does John Jones having to try to get Tom Aspinal to the ground show you something that is the hardest challenge that he's ever had? Probably does. I think it probably does. So I think Tom Aspinall, I think Sergey Pavlovich, that'll be a good fight, and whoever wins, it will be a mega fight against John Jones if he stays and doesn't retire, because there are rumours that after Stipe he will retire, and for a title, if John Jones does, Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall, that is a good and still a good fight to decide the heavyweight title holder. I think they're both up and coming. They both done very well. They both beat a lot of people in that division, and I think they're two of the biggest names, new prospects that have come out, that heavyweight division, which at one point was, quite stale when, Francis left, and then you had John Jones coming in, and we were like, well, that big fight between Francis and John Jones is not happening now. What do we do? And Tom Aspinall had the injury. It was looking a bit ropey for once. You had Pavlovich, but it's still a bit away. What do we do while we're waiting for Pavlovich to get up to that contender spot? But I think now you've got some very interesting fights with, basically involving Sergey Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall and John Jones, in whichever order that sort of happens. But I think Tom Aspinall gives John Jones the hardest fight he's ever had. If he gets that championship shot, and I think he will learn from that a hell of a lot, and I think Tom Aspinall is definitely a future champion in that heavyweight division at some point. I think he's way too good not to be. That'll be good for British MMA to get someone as a title holder in that heavyweight division, the biggest division. Obviously Leon Edwards doing very well. Really, British MMA is sort of got him, and he on doing Soccer Aid and things like that, so really bringing eyes in Britain to the sport. So that's good, and I think Tom Aspinall really just has the quality to do so at the heavyweight division. I think he's just way too fast for most of them guys. So please let me know what you think of Tom Aspinall and what you thought of his latest fight. I thought it was absolutely incredible, the best performance he could ever come back on. And let me know what you think if he fights Sergey Pavlovich or John Jones, who wins, what happens, and what your thoughts are about Tom Aspinall, how far he can rise in the UFC. So please like, subscribe if you like what you saw, and I'll see you next time.